Krav Maga versus Hapkido. What would happen if we put a seasoned master of Krav Maga and a master practitioner of Hapkido together in a room to battle it out? The hands would fly, the kicks would soar, and someone will be victorious. Hey there everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, this is where we cover all things fighting and MMA. Be sure to click that subscribe button to stay up to beat on each of the videos we have in store for you. Today, we're going to bring you a versus battle between Krav Maga and Hapkido. Let's go! Krav Maga is more advanced now than it has ever been in its history. Now that people are discovering the valuable utility of self-defense, it has grown in popularity, and that has fueled more advancements in the martial arts. Krav Maga, that if translated would mean close combat, originated in Czechoslovakia in the 1930s, primarily by Emil Lichtenfeld, to protect his people from the brutalization in pre-World War II Europe. During those dangerous times, the best methods of protection came at a cost. But it was his expertise in boxing and wrestling that brought him to develop the defensive tactics. Krav Maga was born as Lichtenfeld began to combine different techniques to form an effective, simple approach to self-defense for the Jewish community. This would form the basis of Israeli Krav Maga training. This military-based combat style has grown so much over the years that it has been practiced in most law enforcement and military forces. Even though it's not considered to be an actual martial art, it is still a structured-based form of combat that involves skill and a very well-controlled demeanor. Hapkido, on the other hand, is a Korean martial arts form that is practiced all over the world. Hapkido enables the practitioner to leverage extremely powerful and deadly force if absolutely necessary, such as in a life or death confrontation. The art's primary emphasis is on practical self-defense. Punching, kicking, throwing, joint locking, and grappling are the main techniques of the art. But unlike other martial art forms, Hapkido is meant to provide its students defensive tactics under the principles of water, circle, and harmony. Focusing on subduing an opponent and rendering them incapable of attacking, Hapkido helps avoid any unnecessary injuries. Hapkido stands out from other forms of Korean martial arts, such as Tang Soo Do or Taekwondo, in that the focus of Hapkido is to deflect an opponent's attacks. So you can see where this fight can be rather interesting. How can both defensive-focused styles be able to compete with each other? Who would be the one to throw the first blow? Well, we can actually answer that. A Hapkido practitioner would be the one to make the first draw, most likely due to the foundation of its style. The first throw would be to most likely enable their opponent to defend themselves in a certain way, thus anticipating their next move in a defensive yet offensive manner. This is where the two styles would have to be utilized to their best. Right in the midst and prime of the fight, both opponents would engage in defensive manners that result in using each other's bodies as a weapon against them. But how could this match take a turn, and how can we determine a winner? Well, we can answer that as well. The Krav Maga fighter would be one to hold up a very challenging fight. People from all over the world have been easily subdued by people who have trained in Krav Maga. However, the person that would most likely walk away from this fight victorious would be the Hapkido martial artist. The combination of both the offensive and defensive strengths gives this form an better overall utility. When you are practicing Hapkido, you are learning how to kick, punch, throw, maneuver, as well as the defensive mechanism of the martial arts. This means that a Hapkido practitioner would be able to handle themselves in a better and more effective manner. The Hapkido practitioner would be able to defend themselves more effectively when being grappled because of the intense practices that come along with training. Anticipating the other fighter's movements would be rather easy for the Hapkido fighter because they would be able to plan out their strikes in such a manner to anticipate a certain response from the other fighter. This would then leave the Krav Maga fighter unguarded, or shall we say, possibly ill-prepared. When it boils down to it, do you even think that a Krav Maga fighter would be able to successfully prepare for a Hapkido martial artist? In order to gain any possible chance, the Krav Maga specialist would have to study some Hapkido as best they could in order to understand the flow of their movements. This would basically mean that the Krav Maga artist would then have to become trained in some way in the art of Hapkido in order to stand a real chance. This isn't some person trying to take a purse in the parking lot. This is defense against a martial arts that is rooted in bringing major injury to the opponent. Hapkido for the win this time, but we may have to revisit this one in the coming future. But that's all for now, everyone. Be sure to hit that subscribe button in order to stay in the know on each of the videos that we upload. Thanks for watching. See you next time.